Hey guys, what's up? So when you hear the term gaming PC, what are the first three things that come into mind? Well, obviously it's got to be good for gaming, otherwise it wouldn't be called a gaming PC. It's probably also going to have some important specs and hardware on the inside. I mean, if you're going to be a gaming PC, you want the right internals to back up all the intense gaming that you're going to be doing on something like this. And maybe you want something that's also great for everyday use. Well, today I've got the AceMagic AD15 gaming PC. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to the sponsor of today's video, AceMagic and Aruma, for sending this out. We're going to be going over some of the basic key things that I've experienced in the past couple of weeks of using this PC. We're going to be talking about its usability, its performance, and the overall value to see if this thing meets the standards that people would look for when you're spending that much money on a gaming PC. Does it meet your overall expectations as far as gaming concerns? And is it good for everyday use? Let's go ahead and jump to the review. All right, so starting with the usability, let's start by taking a look around this device. It's got an exterior made of plastic, which feels kind of cheap in the hand, but we'll probably get to that in just a sec. Looking around the device, we've got ports on the front and the back. It's kind of lightweight when I first hold it, weighing only at 765 grams, which equates to 1.7 pounds. And for comparison's sake, this is 1 pound lighter than the Mac Mini, so it's definitely living up to the name of being a mini PC. But the shape, though, is kind of odd. Normally, a mini PC is boxed with all around straight edges and straight sides, but while this, if I flip it over, you can see it has this odd curve on both sides. I mean, when you first look at it, you're probably gonna wonder, why did they go with something like this as far as their design language? But I would assume that it's for ventilation, to probably give this thing some extra space to breathe and better cool itself for all the intense gaming that it's marketed for, which again, we'll get to later on in the video. But take a look around the back. We've got two USB-A 3.0 ports, two HDMI 2.0 ports, an Ethernet port, which is pretty standard for a PC, especially now in 2023. On the front, there are two more USB-A 3.0 ports, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and a USB-C port, which enables playback in 4K 60. But despite having a lightning signal next to this, that port does not, unfortunately, charge any devices, which is, to me, a really big bummer. I mean, but when you consider that the price of this device comes in around $449, you kind of get what you pay for, which is the overall theme of this PC. So at face value, this PC on paper looks like it can handle a lot. And when you're taking a look around the device, it does look like it can also back that up. But when it comes to hardware, especially in the tech world, we all know that specs on paper don't equate to high performance. I mean, when it comes to this, the real magic behind this AceMagic is under the hood. So yeah, let's talk about that. So remember how I said this is marked as a performance gaming PC? Well, in order to be one of those, you have to have the right hardware internally, and that's where the you get what you pay for starts to come in. On the processor, we've got an Intel Core i7-11800H processor, which is an 8-core, 16-thread CPU with UHD graphics, and is also 2 years old. All right, now pause. I know a lot of you guys could probably get scared off when you hear, especially in the tech world, that this PC, or at least the chip inside of it, is over 2 years old. Things kind of do really fast in the things do really move fast in the tech world. So yeah, I can understand that having a 2-year-old chip will probably put a lot of you off towards using something like this. But when you do consider that back when this chip was first released, it was one of the higher end chips for its time. And on paper and in real world performance, it really put out its worth. I hope that does take some of the pressure off. When using this as far as my own test, it actually seemed to do really, really good. But there are some areas that I feel are areas of opportunity when it comes to this, which we'll get to a little bit later on in the review. But the GPU is fairly average as well. 1080p games run fairly smooth at 60 FPS thanks to the Intel UHD 11th Gen chip. It's when you try to take this up to 4K and do anything above 20 FPS, believe it or not, that the AD15 starts to struggle at. All right, now I'm not very big when it comes to PC games. I'm more of a mobile gamer and console gamer on my own. But what I did put this thing through was some basic content creation, and some of those results were great and the others were kind of And so here's what I did. Took my iPhone because that's the primary camera that I do use on a daily basis. I shot some video in Apple 4K ProRes and put it onto the timeline in Premiere Pro, thinking that I was going to get similar results to what I would use on a standard M1 MacBook. And when I tried to scrub through the timeline, everything just seemed to kind of freeze and come to a stunning halt. I mean, yes, it was Apple ProRes 4K 30, which is, I know it's kind of a big file format to be working with. Some PCs are built for it, others are kind of scared off, or, they really don't want to deal with it. But I thought that this being a gaming PC, it would be able to do just a little bit better than what the results that I got. Like I said, scrubbing through the timeline, it was very difficult to do because it would drop frames constantly. And then it got a little bit worse, much worse, when I tried to add some music to it. Tried to add a music profile to it just to kind of give the video some flair. It wouldn't even play back the music as I was going through the timeline. At first, I thought maybe there's something wrong with my speakers, or maybe there's some sort of setting since I'm using Premiere on a Windows device for the first time, actually, that I need to go ahead and change to kind of get this to work the way that I wanted it to. But no, everything was set fine. All my settings, the hardware was working good. It's just that the computer, when working with that video format, it just could not play music and scrub through the timeline at the same time. The music wouldn't go. If I tried to add graphics to it, that wouldn't work as well. It just kind of dropped the ball, which was, again, very disappointing for me, to be honest, when I use something like this. But everything seemed to get better when I switched over to 1080p. Using it with 1080p and doing some very light content creation, this PC did an excellent job at that. The music worked, transitions worked, graphics worked, and that's something that I would recommend if you were to be using something like this. It's spec'd just at about the right range that probably a beginner content creator would want to use. And when you're considering that the price is only $449, you do get what you pay for. So again, it's not something that you really want to put a lot of heavy work into. But if you're doing just some basic videos, maybe for a blog or maybe for like a couple of cooking videos or something very simple, this is absolutely the thing that you want to get. All right, so in conclusion, let's talk about the value of the AD15. Who is this PC really built for? Well, when you look at all the pros this computer has, the wide variety of ports, Windows 11 Pro, the 16 gigs of RAM, and that SATA drive, which, by the way, you have the choice of sticking with the one that's already equipped or swapping it out for a higher performing one. All that equates to a pretty good PC for the average user. I mean, with this device, you could have multiple windows open up at the same time. You can burn through spreadsheets. You can do some small time gaming, and you're never going to think twice about how oddly shaped it is, or that it has a it has a 2-year chip built inside of it. None of that's going to cross your mind when you're using this thing just for everyday use or small content creation and gaming, like I said. But if you are a gamer, then you'd want to use this PC with some extra care. Graphically, the AD15 doesn't have what I consider this to be a major gaming device. Those drop frames in pro video editing were enough for me, but again, you kind of get what you pay for, like I said, right? I can see this being the ideal PC for a college student or a small work environment, someone or someplace that doesn't need that extra oomph that you hear or you expect when you hear the term gaming PC. But either way, I will leave a link in the description below in case you guys want to check this thing out for yourself. I mean, overall, it's a pretty good PC. I love the variety of ports that it has on the front and the back. Build quality, we can use a little bit of use, but again, where you only paid $449 for something like this, you kind of get what you get. But overall, man, I do think it's really great. Can't wait to put it through some more tests. Like I said, there's going to be a link in the description below in case you're interested in getting this for yourself or you just want to check it out. And be sure to leave a comment below on what you guys think I should put this thing through. Maybe I need to put through more gaming. Maybe I need to change my settings. Like I said, I'm not really big when it comes to gaming on PCs. So if there's any advice that you guys can provide me, be sure to leave that below. But again, that's the end of this video, guys. Again, a huge, very special thanks to the sponsor of today's video for setting this out. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to follow me on these socials as well, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.